this is so cool that I had to just film it for you. I wasn't gonna film, I was just gonna enjoy, but I'm like, this is so cool. I gotta show it off. So I'm in Barcelona, and in the medieval quarter of Barcelona, there's the Museum of the History of Barcelona, and they have this underground excavation site of the old city, the Roman city, built. I think it was founded 80 BC, I believe, and it lasted a couple hundred years. Around 200 or 300, when the Roman imperial center was having political difficulties. Things kind of declined here, and eventually around 500, the empire fell, and the maintenance of public projects, public spaces, fell off. So that's the aqueducts and everything. But it's really interesting learning about the rise and fall and the place in history that this city occupied. And what's especially cool for me is just being here in this particular site and seeing here. I'm going to turn the camera around and just show you some of the freaking cool stuff here. Like, I'm looking at these. Right, this was an area for where there's a business for processing fish. So these tanks here, these large stone tanks, these are where they would layer fish and salt to make salted fish, and it's been a couple weeks drying and salting in here before they were able to be used as a product. Of course, we still have original signage and even that's so cool, these pillars. I'm not 100% sure what this area was, but I'm assuming it had something to do with the fish making here. Was either for storing or serving some kind of food, because we still have the pottery pretty well intact. I mean, look at this. Super cool to see these ancient Roman businesses and learn what they did and how. And that they're still here, and naturally, when the city basically when they stopped managing the city, people just covered this up and built on top. So we still have a lot of the original buildings, infrastructure here for us to walk around in, which is amazing, and it's just incredible. That 2,000 years ago, we think of it as so pre-modern. And they were so much further along than Europe would eventually be. They had these advanced aqueducts, not just this one, but there's a few over here that were bringing fresh water into the city, flushing sewage out of the city, so that over here we even have a business that was for clothes washing and clothes dyeing, and they were able to flush away the waste from the dyeing process. Let me show you that particular business location. So here's another aqueduct here, and I think so. This is where they were processing those clothing. You can see where they would have been drained off some of that wastewater, and it, I assume, would have gone into this, into this aqueduct here, and get flushed out of the city. And you can see there's intercrossing, another aqueduct here. There's another, where is it? Somewhere. I guess this, see, so aqueduct here, but then next to it, here's another aqueduct. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but yeah, so here's more. So a very complex system to bring water in and out. And there were also bathhouses, for hot baths and everything. So it's all very amazing. And this business here, which was for, I don't remember if this is dyeing or washing the clothes, but this was kind of the, this is all clothes processing of, one type or the other, this kind of section of the city. And this was like the reception area, because it was mostly wealthy patrons who would come and get their clothes dyed. And this sign is going into some of the local dyes, that were using iron oxide and indigo, versus they also had imported expensive dyes like Egyptian blue. So naturally, only particularly wealthy patrons would be there. And so you had luxury products, and I mean, just the complexity here of the economy and everything. It's so interesting to learn about and to picture where this is, when it was. it's really enjoyable for me. And it's I mean, I love this type of thing, coming to these ruins, whether it's in Latin America, learning about how the infrastructure and the lifestyle of the Inca or the Mexica, and seeing the ruins, and what does each thing represent, and what does that tell us about these people. Obviously Roman cities are very, very fascinating, and we know a lot about them. And it's just, it's amazing, because every little thing makes you want to know more. I'm like, okay, so they had clothes dyeing shops. What was the clothing culture like? This was obviously very far from Rome. It would have taken a while for the new styles to make it here to Barcelona. I'm not sure what the city was called back then. It was Barca something similar. But the styles from Rome, like, were they pretty uniform across the empire? What colors meant what? All these things. It's interesting. This sign talked about how the fish market for not only were they salting fish, but they were also making products like a fish, kind of a fish paste, or like a condiment. That was used to flavor food, and they were making it here, and they were able to export it across the empire, because as the empire expanded, that created basically a huge market of people with similar tastes. As peoples were brought into the empire, they would adopt some of the cultural practices, some of the cultural preferences, such as the taste of food, creating a bigger market for a similar flavoring. And it's like, it's so cool to me. I don't know, maybe some people, that they read about that and they're like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. People like what they like, and someone's going to make the food. But I'm like, but I want to know what about it, and where did it come from, and where did it go, and that's why I subscribe to like Curiosity Stream is like a streaming service that has mostly just like documentaries about this kind of thing, very nerdy, like in-depth stuff, kind of like History Channel sort of thing, and I love it. And then of course being here and getting to every little thing just sparks so much interest in me, and of course it's amazing to get to see some of these things in person where they originally stood. And it kind of across the Gothic quarter of modern Barcelona, they have spots where it's not all one museum here. It's kind of spread out throughout the neighborhood, because you have a preserved area here, an excavation here, a part of the old temple here, and you can visit them all. And it's really amazing. Yeah, and it used to kind of frustrate me, because back in school, I was kind of under the impression, like, sure, you can study history, and yeah, maybe there's fewer jobs, but like, there's a place for historians, of course, in our world. And post-graduation, I've kind of been like, when I travel, and part of the reason I love traveling is to see things like this and to learn, just learn as much as I can, see the thing, then read about it, and then watch a documentary about it, and just fill those knowledge gaps of like, I didn't know about this, this fish condiment in the Roman Empire. I would love to know more about that. Tonight I can go home and read about it. But like, I can learn all I want about ancient Rome, and where does that leave me in the modern world? What jobs does that allow me to do? What opportunities that open up? So that kind of has frustrated me for a while, of just like the lack of demand for this type of knowledge. And it makes sense, but it's kind of like, where does that leave me? Is this actually productive for me to be here learning about this, to just engaging with this very strong curiosity and this very, pleasant feeling of learning? I love it. And that's one thing I've liked about getting involved with EA, Effective Altruism, the organization. I've been going to some of their conferences. Like, when I learn through them about interesting topics like, AI risk or biosecurity or whatever, and I can employ that curiosity to learn more and more, and just continue doing what I do here, observing, reading, learning more on some topics that actually do open opportunities in the modern world. So that's been fun. Now I'm getting on a kind of a side tangent here, but yeah, I love learning, and this is super cool. And I don't know if, I would say like, oh, everyone's got to come and see this. I'm basically have been the only one here for like a while, now there's someone else looking around, but this isn't like a packed tourist site, people don't line up to see this, which is kind of sad. But maybe it's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. So I'm having fun. Underground in some Roman ruins, the streets above me, and I'm down here checking out what used to be. So thought I'd grab some on film for you.